Hey everyone, I'm back with another theme and new audio for this month. This month I'm doing Yu Hakusho. It's one of my all-time favorite animes. One of my favorite things about this show is that I have no favorite characters. They're all amazing. Except Sensui. He sucks. Because it was so hard to choose a favorite character, I decided to start from the top, much like my Ocarina of Time series. So, we will be starting with
Yusuke Urameshi, fearless protector of the good stuff with a healthy kick of nastiness and a general hate for authority. And nothing as trivial as a violent death or a few drops of demon blood mixed in with mine is gonna keep me from helping out my friends in saving the world and kicking the bad guy's ass.
Oh man, they do not make anime protagonists like Yusuke Urameshi anymore. Fun fact, even though I live stateside, I didn't grow up with the dub from Toonami like most people. So imagine my surprise when I heard lines like this.
The toddler bitch! You better speak now before I forever put that pacifier 10 inches down your throat!
It was lines like these that gave me the inspiration for this dish. These are Uramashi Skewers, a phrase which here means spicy beef tenderloin skewers with green chutney, basmati and leek rice balls with shaved daikon and seaweed. I created this keeping Japanese convenience food like onigiri and yakitori in mind, because, let's be honest here, 14-year-old delinquents aren't going to sit around fancy restaurants. First, we prepare our rice. All kidding aside, basmati rice is a very starchy rice. You're only going to want to rinse it once or twice. You want to reserve as much of that starch as possible for when we mix it with the leeks. See how it sticks together? That's what you want. Now, let's start on your green chutney. The green in green chutney is primarily mint and cilantro. Try to cut as much of the stems off as you can. Sometimes they can make your chutney pretty bitter. Now I know I've complained about chopping garlic before, but if you smash it, you can peel it off very easily. So peel and roughly chop 3 cloves of garlic and put them in the food processor with your cilantro and mint. This is green Thai curry paste. If you can stand it, add a teaspoon of it. Add about a tablespoon of lemon juice and about 1/4 of a cup of coconut milk. I use the watered down kind here, but you can use canned coconut milk if you want a thicker, richer chutney. Blend thoroughly. It could take a minute, so be patient, especially if you have a blender rather than a food processor. I chose green chutney for this recipe because it is exactly the same color as Yusuke's uniform. This is a tenderloin medallion. It's basically the parts of the tenderloin that are too small to be filet mignon, and luckily, they're pretty cheap. Trim the silver skin off. There's no way you will ever be able to cook it out or render it, so it's best if you just get rid of it. For your marinade, you're going to need minced garlic, minced ginger, soy sauce, Worcestershire sauce, kosher salt, brown sugar, sriracha, and red chili paste. I didn't put any specific measurements because this is all to taste. It's up to you to how spicy you want this beef to be. For an extra punch, add some smoked paprika and turmeric. Coat your medallions thoroughly. There should be 8 in total. You can sear them now, or you can marinate them for no longer than 24 hours. To sear your beef, make sure your pan is on high heat and extremely hot. Be careful. Oil burns are no joke. Once they've developed a nice color on both sides, divide your meat evenly onto 2 skewers. Remember to make sure those skewers have been soaked in water so they don't burn in the oven. Now finish these in the oven at 400. 10 minutes for rare, 15 minutes for medium, and 20 for well done. Now, some of you might be wondering, Hardy, if you base these off of yakitori, why aren't you grilling these? There's a very simple answer to that. 3 days of nothing but rain. Next come your rice balls, which can be done while your meat is in the oven if you work fast. If you're into making soups, you're going to want to save the tops of your leeks. But otherwise, you can go ahead and throw them away. You'll want 3 leeks in total, and don't cut the roots off just yet. Instead, leave them on and wash between the leaves before you slice them. It'll save time from having to soak them after you finish slicing them. And when you do slice them thin, no further than 1/4 of an inch apart. Discard the root ends. Saute your leeks in a non-stick pan with about a tablespoon of your green chutney and some salt. Add your rice into the non-stick pan. It doesn't matter if the rice is completely cool or not, but make sure you add enough for it to stay together when you shape it. With a rice paddle, combine your rice and your leeks as thoroughly as possible. Once your rice is cool enough to touch, shape it like a typical onigiri, or onigiri. I should have looked up how to pronounce this before I started this video. Set it aside and move on to your next step. To toast seaweed, brush it gently against an uncovered oven eye. Back and forth until it becomes just wrinkled enough and just crunchy enough to be crushed. Don't burn it because it will catch on fire. Now put a non-stick pan right back on that eye. You have to be gentle with daikon, and it's already sliced extremely thin. Saute your daikon on medium to medium-low heat. Unless you have sushi restaurant connections, you're not going to just get shaved daikon at your local supermarket. So buy a whole daikon radish and peel it with a vegetable peeler. And when all of the flesh is exposed, just keep shaving. And shave it as much as you want. Shaved daikon is actually pretty good raw. Add a capful of apple cider vinegar and some salt, and you'll notice a very subtle color change. Take your daikon off the eye then. Go any farther and it will be too dry to be any good. When you take your meat out of the oven, don't forget to let it rest for 10 minutes. To finish your chutney, melt 1/4 of a stick of butter, and add no more than a tablespoon of kosher salt. Add most, if not all, of your chutney. Stir and reduce. Once you've got it to the right consistency, you've completed the entire meal. I developed this dish for Yusuke because I wanted something that's bold and strong and powerful and spicy and maybe even a little bit sour. But it's still complex enough to be interesting. You can't underestimate this dish. Remember, anyone who's ever underestimated Yusuke Urameshi is dead. Please guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I get tons of feedback on Tumblr and Instagram, but I don't get enough on YouTube. Let me know how you feel, guys. Just don't make me regret saying that. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Tumblr. The links are below. You'll get a whole bunch of goodies that you don't get here. Remember to be weird, my lovelies, and happy eating.